From ancient times, Hinduism has a rich tradition of storytelling, with its mythologies and Puranas providing a vast repository of knowledge and wisdom. In Hinduism, the concept of creation is closely linked to procreation, with the gods and goddesses themselves being depicted as having children. But what if we could create life outside of the traditional methods of procreation? This is exactly what the science of cloning and in vitro fertilization or IVF enable us to do. IVF is a process where a woman's eggs are fertilized with a man's sperm outside of the body and then transferred back into the woman's uterus to achieve pregnancy. Cloning, on the other hand, is the process of creating a genetically identical copy of an organism. While cloning technology has been used in the past to create identical animals, its application to humans is still a topic of ethical debate. Did you know that the concept of cloning is also mentioned in Hindu mythology? The Hindu creation story speaks of Lord Vishnu creating identical copies of himself to help him in his battles. This idea of creating life through cloning is not so far-fetched when viewed in the context of Hindu mythology. In Hindu mythology, the concept of assisted reproductive technology, such as IVF and cloning, can be traced back to ancient stories and texts. The Puranas, a collection of Hindu religious texts, contain several examples of these themes, showcasing how they have been a part of Hindu beliefs for thousands of years. One such example is the story of King Bharata, who was born from a test tube created by the great Hindu sage, Vasishta. Another example is the story of the warrior prince Skanda, who was born from 6 drops of Lord Shiva's seed, which were preserved and nurtured in the river Ganges. This highlights the idea of preserving and nurturing life outside the body, which is a key principle in IVF. Let us dive into the story of King Daksha and his daughter, Sati. The Emperor Daksha held a great sacrifice and invited all the gods, except for his son-in-law, Lord Shiva. When Sati, Lord Shiva's wife, learned of the sacrifice, she went anyway to confront her father. When King Daksha refused to show respect to Lord Shiva, Sati was angry and immolated herself. When Lord Shiva learned of Sati's death, he became furious and decided to avenge his father-in-law. So he created a child, Virabhadra, from a lock of his hair to take revenge on King Daksha. The way this son of Shiva was born represents the idea of creating life from a single body part, which can be seen as a precursor to cloning. Now let us take the story of King Prajapati and his daughter, Gauri. The valiant King Prajapati created his daughter, Gauri, from his own body to be his wife. The story of the girl Gauri created from the king represents the idea of creating life from a single body, which can be seen as a symbolic representation of cloning. Now let us have a look at the case of the Kauravas. They were the 100 sons of King Dhritarashtra and Queen Gandhari in the Hindu epic Mahabharata. Gandhari was the wife of King Dhritarashtra, who was blind. She was unhappy about her husband's blindness and prayed to the gods for a child who would be able to see for him. Her prayer was answered, and she was granted a son, Duryodhana, who was born with the ability to see. However, Gandhari was still not satisfied, and she prayed for more children. Her prayer was answered by the powerful sage Vyasa, who granted her a boon to have 100 more children. The children were born from a single womb and emerged as a mass of flesh. The sage Vyasa divided the mass of flesh into 100 parts and created 100 infants. These infants were named the Kauravas, and they were raised as brothers. This story represents the idea of multiple birth, which is different from the concept of test tube babies, which involves the creation of a single baby through artificial means. The birth of Lord Dattatreya, in Hindu mythology, also represents the idea of IVF. Datta means adoption, and the Lord is considered as the adopted son of the Trinity who was created by a unique method. According to Hindu scripture, Lord Dattatreya was born as the combined incarnation of the Hindu trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, as it involves a special process that involved the use of a pot, which resembles the modern-day artificial womb used in vitro fertilization. Hindu mythology continues to be a valuable source of knowledge and inspiration, and this story highlights how it has predicted the future of science and technology, specifically in the areas of test tube babies and cloning. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories and videos.